Jigsaw prints are an easy and simple way to develop lots of color from one block. So we've already started with transferring our image from the key block to a second block, and now I'm going to show you how to cut that into new shapes that can be inked. Alright, if you have a plan and you're ready to go, rambunctious even, grab your utility knife or X-Acto and just jump in and start cutting. What you're seeing me do here at warp speed is just cut into the linoleum, go over it and over it again until I can actually audibly hear it cut through the burlap at the back. So I do have to score many times. If you're feeling a little bit more hesitant, and this is a process that a lot of artists actually do, you can begin by actually carving away part of the linoleum with one of your thinnest gouges. This kind of creates a trough for your blade to cut into and makes the process a little easier. So here you can see me in real time cutting around the exterior of my two blooms. Now, once I cut out that line with my small gouge, I'm doing the same process, taking the X-Acto knife and cutting into that area, scoring and then cutting again and again until I can hear it cut through the burlap. And sometimes I will occasionally pick it up so that I can make sure I'm going through to the back. Just be careful not to cut your hand. It takes a little time for this process, so don't rush yourself. So whether you're carving into the block first and cutting, or if you just want to jump in and go for it, make sure you change out your X-Acto blade with great frequency, because the dull blade will be harder to work with. So keep that in mind as you're going through. So here you can see my cut block and how the pieces come back together, much like the namesake of the process, like a jigsaw puzzle. This is a good point to add. Don't get super complex with this. Keep your shapes big and simple. Also, once you're done, clean off all of that excess ink before you go ahead with printing. Now, if we were working in a printmaking studio with lots of brares, we could actually ink up all of those pieces in all the colors we wanted, reassemble, and print multiple colors in one go. But since we all have one brayer, we're going to have to strategize a little bit. So what I decided to do was to ink one flower in white, then quickly add a little bit of red to make a pink to the same ink, and ink that flower so I could print two colors in one go. Okay, let's talk through the printing process. I've already inked the blocks and I reassembled them very carefully in my template. Let me say that again. I carefully assembled them in the template just like we talked about before, making sure the linoleum hits the edges of that corner, and then the same with the paper. Then I just start printing. This is exactly the same. Going over it with the spoon or whatever your printing tool is as much as you need to get your impression. So again, just let me reiterate, take your time, line things up in the template, both the block and the paper as you're printing. If you don't do this, you'll definitely have problems as you move on to your other runs of printing. And when I say runs of printing, that's what we refer to for each color. It's usually a color run. So here I am finishing up printing my white and my pink, and soon I'll pull the impression. Okay, so after I pulled the pink and the white, I'm ready to move on to the blue. So I've inked those blocks and now I'm reassembling everything into place. This can take a little practice. Typically you'll realize as you saw me just shift which blocks need to go into place first. So for me, the blue, then the white, then the pink, and then the other blue pieces. So it's always beneficial, even if not everything is inked, to reassemble everything in the template. So that way you make sure everything will line up for you. So here I am finishing up, lining up my blocks, and then I will start printing this impression. Again, making sure everything's lined up and just being careful. Okay, so then I'm going to grab the print that I've already pulled, take a little bit of time and carefully line it up in the corners, give it a little bit of pressure, and you guys definitely know what's coming next, right? I'm going to grab, not my spoon this time, I'm going back to the vitamin bottle to get a good impression. Okay, so let's finish pulling this blue color on. So I'm just taking my time again, and now I can pull the print or check a corner first. Also, you'll be usually able to visually see if there's not enough ink coming through. So sometimes I will do like I just did there and pull it a little bit more. Aha, here we go. Second color run is done. Okay, now I'm ready to print my key block. I've already got it inked up, and I'm going to take that print, double checking first my block is situated in the corner correctly, and lining things up. Now, I'm actually hurrying the process here a little bit. This block hadn't completely dried out from a previous cleaning, so it's got a little bit of a bow to it. So do keep that in mind. Let things dry completely in between. And I lined it up, grabbed my medicine bottle again, and I'm pulling the print. And are you ready for it? Here comes the great reveal. And one more time. From cutting the block into small pieces that each can be inked with an individual color, to how to do the separate color runs and finally print the key block. Notice my print can be trimmed down later once everything is dry so that I have a 1-inch border all the way around.